Have you ever felt like you're stuck in a loop with someone, having the same fight over and over again? Well, what if the key to breaking that cycle wasn't about changing the person, but about seeing a kind of hidden blueprint that shapes their entire world? Today, we're going to dive into a powerful idea that suggests exactly that.
It's a really powerful idea when you stop and think about it, that we're all swimming in these invisible currents, these deep-seated personality structures that define how we see, think, and feel. And the wildest part? We're usually completely oblivious to it. We don't even know we're in the water.
So let's meet Mike and Sally. For them, this invisible current wasn't some gentle stream. It was a full-blown storm. Now, they definitely loved each other, but they were locked in this vicious cycle of conflict. It wasn't just pushing them apart, it was creating a really tense and unpredictable home for their daughter Tammy. And they each felt completely and totally unseen by the other.
And this is where it gets really interesting. Look at how different they are on a fundamental level. Mike, he's an ESTJ. For him, logic is king. It's all about the goals, getting things done. And emotions? Yeah, they're just messy distractions. Then you have Sally, an INFP. She lives in this rich inner world of values and feelings. She craves harmony and is deeply, deeply sensitive. You can practically feel the friction just looking at this, can't you? It's like they're speaking two different languages.
So they were pretty much at a breaking point. And that's exactly when their journey took a sharp turn. Someone basically handed them a new map, a way to finally see the hidden landscape that was causing all the earthquakes in their relationship. What was this new map? Well, their therapist introduced them to Jungian Typology. And this wasn't about sticking them in boxes or slapping on simple labels, not at all. It was about giving them a new lens, a way to see their own fundamental operating systems, and, more importantly, to finally understand just how radically different those systems were from each other. And this right here, this is the absolute key. The whole goal was to stop the blame game, to move from what's wrong with you to asking, hey, what is this dynamic that keeps happening between us? That little shift, it's everything. It's how you turn a battlefield into common ground. Now, to make these abstract types feel a little more real, their therapists did something pretty cool. They used these powerful, almost mythic metaphors. Because, it's not just about a bunch of letters like E, S, T, J. It's about understanding the deep archetypal stories that we're all living out, day in and day out. Mike was framed as Batman. And think about it, it's perfect, right? He's this hero, completely driven by a mission, relying on logic, technology, and order. His way of caring is what the source material calls cruelly caring. He's so focused on fixing the problem logically that it can come across as incredibly cold or just completely dismissive of anyone's feeling. And Sally? Well, she was Belle from Beauty and the Beast, another perfect fit. She lives in books in this beautiful inner world of dreams and values. She doesn't want to fix the world, she wants to connect with it. She's driven by empathy and a deep desire for harmony. So can you just picture Batman's intense, logic-driven mission crashing right into Belle's search for connection? Of course they're gonna clash. So you start to see it, don't you? All those constant arguments, they weren't a sign that their love was failing. They were a completely natural, even predictable outcome of these two very different people trying to share the same space. Their conflict wasn't a personal failure. It was just inevitable. And understanding this one simple idea, well, it set the stage for a massive breakthrough. This was the light bulb moment, the moment the lights finally came on, and they saw the real source of their pain for the very first time. And in that moment, everything shifted. They realized it wasn't Mike versus Sally. It had never been Mike versus Sally. The real enemy in the room wasn't the person they loved. It was this invisible, frustrating pattern they were both trapped inside. This is exactly what we mean when we talk about externalizing the problem. It's such a brilliant concept. The enemy isn't a person, it's a pattern. It was this volatile, unconscious reaction happening between their two very different personality types. So this big realization actually leads to a really practical three-step game plan. First, you name the pattern. For them, it was the thinking versus feeling clash. Easy. Step 2, you externalize it. You treat it like it's a third thing in the room separate from you both. And then the magic happens. Step 3, you unite against it. You stop facing off against each other and you turn to face the problem together as allies. And that's the real payoff. All of that energy they used to spend attacking each other,
was now redirected toward understanding and managing their difficult dynamic. They went from being adversaries to being teammates in their own lives. So, with this totally new perspective, they began to build a bridge between their two worlds, and they used the language of typology as the building blocks for that bridge to finally truly communicate. They learned to see their relationship not as some fixed, perfect crystal that shatters under pressure, but as a crystal in solution. It's a beautiful metaphor, isn't it? It means their relationship is a living, fluid thing that needs constant, gentle stirring. Communication, understanding, and care to keep it from hardening back into those old, painful patterns. And that is the ultimate lesson from their journey. Mike's logic wasn't a problem that needed to be solved, and neither was Sally's emotion. They were simply differences. Differences to be understood, navigated, and ultimately, even enjoyed. They learned to see the value in each other's worlds.
So it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many of our own frustrations, our own stalemates, aren't really about the people involved at all, but about a clash of unseen patterns? What hidden dynamics in your own life are just waiting for a new map to be understood?